Okay, we might kick off. Welcome everyone for the new Access to Text for 2024. We've gone with a bit of a new look where you can actually see Mitch and I in the corner. So let us know what you think about that, but something that we've been trying to achieve for a little while so that you're not just looking at a blank presentation the whole time. And we think we might have achieved it, but let us know if we've done a good job or not. So, of course, today will be hosted by Mitch and myself, John Kennedy, Head of Solutions, and Mitch, our Senior Solutions Consultant over here. And what we will be talking about today is call center connectors. So I know a lot of you have been asking about call center connectors and how connecting to NICE and other platforms that do CCaaS. And Mitch will talk about that very shortly. We have also TAC Ticket 2.0 and some improvements that we're doing for the TAC ticketing side of things, which Mitch will also talk through. We've got port reschedule, so being able to reschedule ports yourself through the platform with a button. So Mitch will also talk through those. And group technical training and some of the changes we're doing there, and also the dates that we're leading up to up for the next few months. And I'll talk through that as well. And then we'll have a little bit of other information after that. So kicking over to Mitch about call center connectors.
Thanks for that, John. I'm trying to work out why you say you're going to talk about the last thing, but not the other ones, but it's all good.
I just like to delegate.
So call center connectors is something we've been worked on for quite some time. What it's going to be is a way of connecting from our SaaS platform directly into those Genesis and NICE platforms. So think of it kind of similar to a SIP trunk. Main difference here is it's being managed by us from our side of things. It's fully multi-tenanted from our side. So a lot more redundancy built into it, coming out of both of our data centers and really easy to provision out of our system. So first of all, a little bit about why are we providing this. So from our side of things, those Pure Cloud from a Genesis side and CX1 from NICE are providing functionality to your customers that we currently do not have a product for. This is that full omni-channel contact center connection, and a lot of customers already have these. This is giving you a way of being able to have that conversation with the customers and be able to manage that calling into those profiles from your customers as well, without having to find a different vendor for it, without having to manage those SBCs yourself or anything like that. We're managing all of that for you. Nice thing about this as well is means that 100 number range coming into Access 4, we're managing that for you. We're dealing with the upstreams, and then you can split that off. So you can have some of them going to your office users and your executive users, or into a SIP trunk onto that on-prem PBX, and then some of that same 100 number range going into that contact center. So really being able to give a more flexible solution to those customers. If you just want to go to the next slide there, John. So exactly what we're saying here. So from that side of things, we're providing all of that management, everything from our side. It's really easy to connect from our system into those platforms as well. Depending on which contact center you're going with, there's slightly different ways of doing it. Usually it's a token that's either generated by us or by the vendor that you put into the other vendor's platform, and it does that connection for you. Really simple, very similar to the way you set up an Operator Connect if you've done that with us previously, and gets up and running really fast. Put numbers onto it, it then talks into the other side and puts those numbers there, and then you can configure it from their side. Nice thing about this as well is you don't have to be that specialist in that omnichannel platform. If they already have someone internally who manages it for them, they have a different vendor who's managing it for them, who only manages the contact center and not the calling aspect of it, you can just add the numbers similar to Operator Connect once again, and they manage that for you, that side of it, and you just manage the calling piece from the Access 4 SaaS side. So a lot more customization from our side as well. Jumping to the next slide there. Perfect. So some of the benefits of this, so there's lots in here, but the infrastructure configuration hosting, as I mentioned, it's done by us. We're managing a lot of that for you. Less overhead for yourselves. And that simplified installation from a tenancy perspective, as I mentioned, that's that access token that sits between us and the customer, or us and the platform, to get it all configured. Really easy to set up. Can set it up. Once again, we've got full documentation guides how to configure it all. Already released with these. So these products have already been released. These came out last month. They were being requested by a few partners. We gave them access to them early. And then we've launched it with quite a quiet launch from that side of things. If you do want to know more, please reach out to John, myself, your dedicated solution consultant, or your PGM, PSM, and we can have a better conversation. But at a high level, this is what we're providing for you. That instant connectivity, if you go back, John, the instant connectivity, as I mentioned as well, being able to do it straight away into the customer's tenancy. There's no days to wait for configuration. You don't have to wait for hardware, any of that. Really simple to get that configured. Now you can go to the next slide. Perfect. So why are customers going with this contact center as a service? So slightly different to the way Access 4 do things today. So that omni-channel connectivity. So not just calling, but the amount of customers and companies who want to chat in a different way, whether that's using a chat bot on your computer, whether that's WhatsApp or SMS going into that same platform, all of those different methods, being able to utilize a single portal to do all of that. From that side of things, Access 4 is not specialists in omni-channel contact center. We specialize in calling only. And so we're not trying to compete with that NICE and Genesis on that same level. So giving you the ability to have that as a product set, however, not compete with them as well. With this, really easy to scale. There's no minimum, no maximum number of SIP chunks you can provide into it. And that's all it is. It's how many channels you want into that platform ready to go. And then you get that best-in-class feature set. Access 4 has always said that we've tried to bring the best-of-class features and products to our partners and to our end customers. And with that, we're not competing. We understand that those companies specialize in those products. They've done them for decades at this point for some of them. And from there, it's giving customers still the best of class from what they want, what they're already using, and then leveraging SaaSboss to make that easier for our customer and our partners from that side of things. Anything you want to add to that one, John?
No, I think you've pretty much covered most of that off well. I mean, it's something that people have been asking for quite some time. It's been something we have been working on in the background. There has been some delays from the CCaaS vendors themselves, which have caused this to be delayed, but we have been working on it for quite some time. And I know Stan has been really working on making sure that this works as seamlessly as possible with Saj. But you covered off pretty much everything that we need to.
Cool. And for those who aren't aware where omnichannel contact center kind of sits in the space, so unified communications is what we see as your office, your executive, your Microsoft Teams users, that kind of level. Very basic calling functionality only. That call center space is where we start talking about those that BroadSoft call queues, being able to do analytics, reporting, being able to do disposition codes, that level of functionality. So it's a little bit step above. We do still provide that on our BroadSoft platform. And with that, a lot more advanced and with uses of iCall Suite to do your analytics and your reporting, or using Mondigo to do your CRM integrations and that level of functionality. So it's a little bit more above. However, omnichannel takes it to that next level. You're getting a lot more feature set in there, a lot more of that complex, different methods of communication. Maybe they call in and start their conversation that way, and then you need an image or something like that, giving them that functionality, being able to send an email and comes into the same location and the person on the call can see that straight away. This is what that omnichannel kind of does from that side of things. So being able to provide that, and that's why we've provided, so NICE and Genesis are the ones we've launched with at the moment. We are working on another one as well, and that's coming out in the near future. So we have had this request from partners. If there's another one out there that someone that you are selling, let us know. We may be able to have that conversation as well. From our side of things, we are now running additional SBCs to get this function up there. but there's nothing stopping us if there's a need for another contact center or another omnichannel contact center that we aren't aware of who is growing. We can leverage that as well. But that's, as I mentioned earlier, that's launched. It's ready to go. It's ready there for your customers. So if you want to have those conversations, please reach out. We're happy to have that conversation with you. Awesome. Next, we're talking about our TAC Ticket 2.0. So we've launched this. We finally launched this. It came out last week before. So it's an update to SaaS Boss. This takes our 2.0 branding, which started back in November, December when we did the first big upgrade, and utilizes that into our TAC Ticket system. So if we want to jump to the next page. So we had a lot of feedback from partners early for a long time, since a lot of the time I've been here at least, saying the portal to log tickets is difficult. We listened to that. We've tried to simplify it. We've made it a lot simpler to run through. We had a partner call up, speak to one of our TAC members the other day who asked, because there were some screenshots and other requirements involved, they asked, can you log a case in the portal so we can get that correct details? And the partner didn't really want to. The ticketing system is difficult in there. We advise there's a new portal, a new form to fill out. It's a lot simplified. Our TAC member walked them through filling that out. And the feedback on the phone at the time was, this is a lot better. So from that side of things, it used to be 3 full wizards that you needed to run through. It's all simplified down to a single page. And it's, who's the customer that's having issues? Is it affecting the entire customer? If yes, that's all we need to know. Is it affecting just a single group? So say no, and then ask you which group it is. Is it just a single person within that group? Then we'll ask for what service that is as well. After that, it's what kind of ticket is it? So is it an incident? Is it a question? What are we trying to work with here? And that's how we triage it. So different levels of SLA and different teams could go to depending on what kind of ticket it is. And then gives a subject line and description. That's all we kind of need at this stage, as well as, have you done some troubleshooting, or what troubleshooting steps have you run through to get to this? More detail, the better, as always. If you've tried rebooting it, let us know. If you've tried to take it to a different site and it still happens, let us know. Anything you can provide to us for what you've done from a troubleshooting perspective, the better. However, at the same time, if you have no idea where to start, you haven't done any troubleshooting, let us know that as well. It just means that we know where what's gone through. And then finally, at the bottom there, some images. So if there's screenshots, if there's packet capture logs, anything like that, upload those files there as well, just so we know what we're working with. Hit submit, and then it runs from there. There's no, can you grab us call logs? Which calls was it specifically? Anything like that. All of that's been simplified. So much easier now with the new form. And you can still log those forms from anywhere inside SaaS Boss. So if you go to in the menu on the left-hand side, if you go to the support tickets page, there's a lodge ticket button there. Otherwise, on every service, every group, every customer within SaaS Boss, as well as the call detail records page, I believe, as well, and the CDRs, not CDR, sorry, that is call detail records, the packet loss page and those kinds of information, you can still log off that as well. And that still lodge ticket button will take you to that same form. So it's still asking same for information across the page. So much simplified, much easier to run through those and get those configured when need to. And last thing I need to run through is our port reschedule. So we've made some changes to this. We previously, if you need to reschedule a port, you would have to put a note in the system and hope our porting team saw it, or you call up and speak to our porting person who would reschedule it for you. We understand that calling isn't always convenient, especially if you're on site with a customer when they have that discussion. You can't call at the time, you send an email, it gets missed, things happen. So we've tried to make this much easier from that side of things as well. So now when the port gets logged, once it gets booked, so that stage along the top there around validation, many steps along that way. So before step 5, when it actually gets booked, you won't see the button there. You can't reschedule it. It hasn't been booked yet to be rescheduled. But once it's in there as booked, you do see a new red button there that says reschedule. What this will allow you to do is it prompts you saying, when would you like the port to be rescheduled for? Similar to when you first put in the port, and we will we'll reschedule it for that date or as close as we can to that date for you. There's a little notification next to you, next to that, where the book date is, and that little at the moment in that screenshot, it's a red 0. If it has been rescheduled, that just updates to a 1, so you can see how many times it's been rescheduled. For those of you who are aware, you do get 1 free reschedule with every port, so it goes up to 1. If you need to reschedule it again, you may be charged from Access 4 for that reschedule. However, with this as well, we've made another change around how you can charge your customers for this as well. So, yep, if you want to go to the next slide. You were perfect that time. And then you went back. As I mentioned, it'll show there once it's booked. From here, next dot point, perfect. So you can reschedule it. In the productization section, you can set how many reschedules your customers get for free. So you get 1. However, if you want to charge your customer for that first one, you're more than welcome to. If you want to give them 2 or 3, you can do that as well. So, and this is what's going to be on that port on your invoicing, if we're doing retail invoicing for your customers. So from that side of things, really simplified, trying to make that easier. For NZ and Cat-C ports, obviously, you do have to pick a weekday so far out. So 10 working days, up to 30 working days outside of that. And then for Cat-A ports, it's a little bit sooner. You can book it up to 5 days out. So Cat-A is happening a lot faster from that side of things, a lot more or less involved from our side as well. A lot of Cat-A's are just automated, while our New Zealand porting and our Cat-C porting, a lot more involved, has to take a little bit more time. Hence why 10 days instead of 5. You can request up to 2 reschedules via the portal. If you do need anything additional to that, you do need to reach out, once again, either calling into our TAC team, into our porting team rather. The reason why we do this is we're trying to work out why it's being rescheduled. What we can do to try and make it so we're not getting that that rescheduling fee from our upstream carriers. Try to stop us invoicing you if we don't need to as well. And if it's just a resourcing thing, can we help you out with that? Is something else going on? What we can do to assist. So trying to simplify that porting so we don't have to push it back from us and yourselves. So anything past 2, reach out and we can do that for you as well. Yep, that's everything for that one.
Cool. Thanks, Mitch. Thank you for all that information. I'm going to talk about group technical training now. So we launched our group technical training last year or the year before in June. We've been working on building that out with UC Express training, of course, with UC Express launch, Microsoft Teams as well. And we've started changing some of the aspects of it, mainly the UCAS one. And what we've done is, it's gone the wrong way. We've changed it from 6 hours to 3 hours. So previously the UCAS associate training used to be 6 hours. So it would take most of the day or 2 half days. We've actually collapsed that down to 3 hours. We've taken the part that was the first 3 hours and moved that into webinar side of things within Strive to allow partners to be able to do that through the Strive program, as opposed to having to sit through it in the UCAS associate training, because ultimately the stuff that we were training there is useful within the UCAS associate training, the UC Express training, and the MS Teams training. So it then allows you to do that through Strive at your own time. Once you've passed those, you're then eligible to be able to sit the UCAS training, the UC Express training, and the Teams training. So to start off with UC Express, we're going to have a training session on March the 7th.
UCAS, not UC Express.
I said UC Express, UCAS associate, sorry. March 7th, April the 3rd, and June the 5th. The next one is UC Express. And the UC Express technical training will be on February 20th, April 17th, and June 6th. We are working on the MS Teams side of things, but that will be another couple of months away before we get a month or 2 away before we get the schedule complete, because there are some technical sides of things that we need to do in the background to make sure that we're able to perform that training, because it's a little bit more complicated through licensing and whatnot from that perspective.
If anyone does want that Teams training in the meantime, there is one being scheduled for next month. So keep an eye out for it. We're just not going to, it will be in the Strive portal. There may just not be any shout outs outside of that, just because of still in early stages till we can get it up and running. And our L&D team who is running these courses now feel comfortable running it by themselves. But there is probably going to be a teams training next month. So keep an eye out for that one.
Yep. And then access to text on the road. So we are coming up to March, which is our roadshow month. So we'll have our main roadshows for the sales teams and those of you who'd like to join us at those roadshows. But as we have for the last few roadshows, we've had access to text on the road. So we will be visiting all sites with the roadshows. This is the QR code to register for access to text on the road. So
if you don't scan this now, it's no problem. I'll give you a chance to scan it while I speak. However, this will also be sent out in the email after this presentation as well.
That's right, yeah. But I'll give you a bit of a chance to scan it now. So I'll read through each of the dates for each of the sites. So Adelaide is Tuesday, the 5th of March. Perth is Thursday, the 7th of March. Brisbane is Tuesday, the 12th of March. Sydney is the 13th, the 4th. Thursday, the 14th of March. That was really well done, wasn't it?
That was.
Melbourne is Thursday, the 21st of March. And to our friends over the ditch, it's Auckland on Wednesday, the 27th of March. So please come along. We really love to see you. We really enjoy the attendance that we get at all of these. We want to have a bit of a competition between each of the states to see who we can get as a percentage of partners to our events on access to text on the road. And we really want to beat the roadshow, to be honest. We want to have a higher percentage of our techs out there and coming to these shows so that we can, give it to the sales team. I mean, we are part of the sales team as well, but we like to make sure that we challenge the PGMs and make sure that we, can beat them from a technical perspective. But they are really good fun. They're really informative. We had a lot of product information that comes up in the road shows, but it goes into a more in-depth technical discussion around those topics themselves, rather than being that high-level sales information that you get at those roadshows, which is still good because it tells you about the sales aspect of those products, whereas we go into the deep dive of the technical.
Yeah. So Jasmine, the times are on that QR code on the website. However, if Jasmine will tell me if I'm wrong anyway, but it's probably going to be from 2 till 5. All the venues are the same as the roadshows. So last year we were close by, but we're not at the same venues. This year we're at the same venues for every single one. So we finish at 5, which is when registration and drinks start for the roadshows. So we literally walk out of the room, go downstairs, and walk straight into the roadshows. So you're all more than welcome to attend this one and then the roadshows afterwards. Alternatively, if you don't want to attend the roadshows, you don't have to. But from 2 p.m., reason why we're doing it a little bit later, gives you a chance to have some lunch beforehand, get to the venue as well. Previous years, we started them a bit earlier in the day, so we've started just a bit later to make things a bit easier for partners as well.
Yes. So really look forward to seeing you there. So if you can attend, please attend. They're really informative. The information we give there, we don't tend to give out after that either. So it's literally just at access to text on the road. We don't do any webinar sessions for those. So literally there will be no way of getting in from remote. Any questions at all?
We have not.
Not got any questions?
No.
Give it a minute or so, and then we have one more slide to go after this one.
Yep.
Which is a pretty important slide, as you'll all find out very shortly.
But so for roadshows, we are talking about a lot of the same thing as the roadshow in Access to Text, but as John mentioned, it is more of a technical deep dive. We're going to be joined by Anne, our head of product, doing a deep dive into a lot of things from her side. We're also getting some input from other teams of the business as well. I just spoke to Nick, ahead of UX design, discussing some updates around 2.0 and what that looks like from his side of things as well. So we're getting lots of input from other teams into this as well. Are the CCAS connectors internet or MPLS? Can we get a little bit more information around exactly what you're referring to there? From our side of things, we're connecting to it via our SBCs are part of our network. The way we connect from our SBCs to the vendors is peering. So it's not technically either of those. We are peering with the vendors.
So it's more like a cross connect than it is, say, an MPLS or internet
Correct.
as such.